Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to do a Harbor Freight catalog review. I've had a couple of subs ask me if I'm ever going to do a Harbor Freight catalog review, so I figured, hey, you know what? I got two catalogs in the mail today. Both of them pretty much look the exact same, so we'll just go through one and I'll skim through it, kind of circle some of the things that I have experience with or the things that I've used in the past that I actually like, and then I'll also do the same exact thing and I'll cross things out for the things that I don't like. Now, your opinion might be different than mine, and that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you feel that you have the need to share that opinion with everybody, please feel free to do so down in the comments. But don't bag on me for my experience, because this is just my experience. It's my thought process. These are my opinions. They're just opinions. That's it. So everyone's got an opinion about something. So if you want to share yours, put it down in the comments. Maybe other people will take your opinion into consideration. So that being said, let's roll right into it. Let's take a look at the catalog that I got from Harbor Freight in the mail. And yeah, I'll show you my likes and dislikes. Let's get into it. All right, sorry guys, let's go ahead and do this one over. I started it but was kind of interrupted. Wife came in, she had the music blaring, so I have to start this over, but at any rate, I apologize. Let's just dive right on into it. I already started circling some stuff. Any rate, inventory closeout catalog sale from Harbor Freight. Love the jacks. I have an aluminum one. I've used the steel ones in the past. Great value for 80 bucks. Another thing I like are their tool chests. If they would have had the 44-inch by 22-inch tool chest in blue and black when I was getting ready to upgrade my toolbox after Bumblebee broke down, I probably would have gone this route. They didn't have that option. I wasn't a big fan of red, and I also believed that 44 inches was just a little bit small for me, so I ended up going a different route. However, these are very good boxes. They hold a lot of tools. It's got a lot of drawers for you to organize your tools the way that you want them to. For $449, how could you really complain? I think that's not only good for the DIY and weekend warrior, I think it's also an excellent toolbox for you to use, especially if you're just starting out as a mechanic in this trade. For a couple of reasons. One, you don't know how long you're going to be interested in doing it. Two, it's going to take you a little while to build up enough tool inventory. And then by the time you do, you're going to realize real quick whether or not this is something that you want to continue to do for a career, or you want to step down and do something else. And if you decide to do that, you've got a killer toolbox that should last you years and years and years at home. I don't really have any opinions about Bauer other than the fact that I have picked them up in the store. I have pressed the trigger. I have checked out the LED light. It seems like a really good value for $65. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. Nothing really else on here. I'm going to get, okay, well, we'll do one more thing. I'm going to give this battery pack a big X. I know it's $5. It seems like it's a great value. It's really not. Their batteries are junk. They have like less than 50% life left in them by the time you go to use them. So I'm saying spend a few extra bucks, get Duracell or Energizer. That's just my opinion. Again, my opinion. Earthquake XT. Great value, okay? They have two here. This is a 3-inch anvil built into the gun. And they have one that's just a regular impact wrench. Okay, so it depends on if you're using a flip socket a lot. If you're a lube tech, you might consider getting this one over this one. If you're doing a lot of heavy line steering and suspension, that 3-inch extension might not be necessary, and it might be actually intrusive. It might actually be in your way. But for 120 bucks, I would buy either one of those if I needed one. I don't currently need one, but I did buy the stubby version of the 1/2-inch Earthquake, and we'll talk about that later because I'm sure it's going to be in the catalog, but I absolutely love it so far. Don't have much to say about their generators. Haven't had a real need to buy a generator from them. A 29-piece titanium drill bit set. I'm going to say hell yes, okay? We have the same exact set here at the house for 14 bucks, and for a homeowner deal, this is a great value, okay? It's got a lot of drill bits. We've used ours now for about 2 years. I put them in Heather's toolbox. She just keeps using them. Every time she needs a drill, she uses it. Loves those things. They keep on working. Something to note, its primary use is going to be wood and drywall and, you know, cork board and things like that. Not really designed for metal. Just in case you were wondering. The 20-ton press. Let's talk about the 20-ton press. 140 bucks, okay? A great value, but even better value if you know what you're doing when you buy this to begin with. So you might come into a certain situation where these are just actually bolted on here at the top, and it's bolted on over here, and this is meant to slide up and down to adjust the depth for what it is that you're trying to press, whether it's a bearing or something like that. So how you can create more durability out of this is to take either a wire wheel or some sandpaper or something like that, sand this down on the edges where it's fixed in and it's bolted in, and weld these joints together. That's going to prevent it from breaking. I had one in the past. We were putting a lot of tension behind it. It wasn't 20 tons worth of tension, I'll tell you that. And it did break and it kind of cracked. So we ended up having to weld it anyways. After we welded it, it continues to work to this day. So some 10 years later, 8 years later. So great value, but you might consider reinforcing the strength of these this bolted area up here at the top. You might just start welding it. At any rate, we'll move on. Nothing there, nothing there. Okay, cordless tool here, 12 volt lithium, 3/8 extreme torque ratchet kit, 100 bucks. So not a bad bargain for what it's worth. I believe this actually does come with the battery, the charger, and the ratchet itself. And if you're just starting to step into the cordless field, it might be a good way to go. I remember the Milwaukee Gen 1 was $99.99, but did not include a battery nor a charger. So this might actually be a good route to start off with. And if you already have it, again, feel free to go down in the comments, leave a comment about it. So, but I think this is a great starter for sure. If you already know what you're looking for and you've already had experience with cordless tools, you might decide to go a different route, whether it be Milwaukee, Matco, Snap-on, etc. The 30-inch 4-drawer tech cart for 110 bucks. Also a really good value, but I think this also comes in on sale for $99.99 occasionally. And now it's only 10 bucks, so I guess if you're not in a real dire need to get it, you could save 10 extra bucks by waiting. Yeah, I don't think the 20% coupon actually covers it. I don't think the 20% coupon can be used on the service carts and toolboxes. So I don't know. You can either wait for it to drop down in price or just pay the extra 10 bucks. I don't have an opinion about their scan tools. I can't tell you much about them. I've been asked quite a bit, what do I think of them? I don't know. I don't have experience with them. I have a lot of experience with CN Launch, C-Reader. I've used the Topton. I've used Actron. I've used Snap-on. I've used Matco. I've used Alltel. I have not used anything from Harbor Freight. So I don't have an opinion about that. Please stop asking. At any rate, the Daytona Jack. So the first one here in the front, 80 bucks. The Daytona one is 180 bucks. I believe it offers a little bit of a lower profile, but again, it's a 3-ton, and this one's a 3-ton. To be honest, I don't need mine to say Daytona on it. I mean, I don't know if that really is much more beneficial than getting the one made out of steel that's also, you know, heavy duty in nature for $100 cheaper. I'd probably go with the steel one over the Daytona, but I have heard good things about the Daytona, so I'll circle that as a go. Cherry pickers. I have utilized their cherry pickers in the past, also known as an engine hoist. 140 bucks, great value. I think that's even $20 cheaper than the one that I bought from AutoZone, which happens to be a Duralast. And I've used both. Both of them hold up. Why I went the Duralast route, I don't know. I wanted to try something new, and I liked the colors, and I was like, you know, I need one in a pinch. They didn't have any currently on hand because they had sold their last one at Harbor Freight. I didn't want to wait a week for them to get their new shipment in, so I just bought one from AutoZone. But at any rate, good value for sure. Again, don't have much experience with the Bauer, but for 65 bucks and having a hex driver that's also 20 volt, I think that's a heck of a value. Going over to the Hercules line, now I personally haven't used their angle grinders from Hercules, but they do compare themselves to DeWalt. I can tell you guys, I do have a DeWalt, and I believe I also have a Makita, but for 70 bucks, I think it's only I don't know, $20 or $30 cheaper than the DeWalt and Makita brand. I could go either way. Good value from what I've heard. Again, I don't have any personal experience about it. I've just heard good things about the Hercules lineup. Now going over to the Vulcan welding helmet. Used to be Chicago Electric, so they have kind of changed it a little bit. Vulcan is now their new power lineup for welding stuff. Hey, if it's as good as the Chicago Electric, I'm gonna say thumbs up for sure, because I have a Chicago Electric one still to this day that still works. My grandmother bought it for me. It's like one of the only things I have left to remember her by, and I plan on keeping it forever. I do have a Matco helmet that I use. It's more of my go-to, but I still have the one that she got for me when I first started community college and I started welding. The transmission floor jack, 120 bucks. I actually have one here at the house. Love that thing. It's good not just for transmission pulls, but also if you're trying to drop your fuel tank or your transfer case or something like that. This thing's phenomenal. It's definitely, if I had to choose between this and a regular jack, it's really hard to say which one I would go with first. Obviously, I'd like to have both first, but if I had to pick one over the other, obviously I would get a regular floor jack first because you're going to use that more. But this is also pretty invaluable. That would be like a next purchase. I would buy this before I bought an engine hoist or an engine stand. Even if you're doing engine pulls and everything like that, I would probably buy this next. That would be my next item to have at home because it's just so invaluable. It's a killer tool to have. Their gloves. I burn through gloves quite a bit, the leather ones at least. So for 10 bucks, that's like $10 cheaper than the mechanics ones. I'm thinking about actually going and getting some of these Hardy ones just because I'm tired of spending 20 bucks a piece. So this is going to be like, I'm going to put a little star next to this. I haven't tried these out. A friend of mine at work has a pair of these. He says they hold up just as long as the mechanics ones do. And if that's the case and I can save half the cost, I'm going to. So I think I'm going to go to Harbor Freight and pick those up. Maybe not this weekend, but I will be buying my next set of leather gloves from Harbor Freight for sure. All right, moving on to the next page here. So we got the 26-inch by 22-inch service cart. Heck of a value at $240. I did a miniature review of this when I was introducing it to you guys for the TOT program that I've been trying to develop and trying to figure out how to kick off. Hell of a value. I thought this was a great starter box for sure, especially if a service cart's too small for you, but you're not really ready to step it up to a bigger box. This is a great way to go, because not only can you start off with something like this, but they also make a top chest portion, which also offer you more drawers, and you're going to use the heck out of that for a handful of years before you even outgrow it. And maybe it makes a great at-home box when you step it up to a bigger one. But I think that's a great value. That's why I picked it up for the TOT. All right, moving on to the welder stuff. Nope, that's a plasma cutter. So I haven't used the plasma cutter from the Chicago Welding. I have seen a plasma cutter that was, what was it? I don't know if it was Chicago Electric. It might have been. It was when the casing was blue and this portion here was black. So this has been about 8 years back when the plasma cutter first came out. A friend of mine actually owned one and we used it quite a bit. I thought it was pretty cool and it seemed to work out well. So if it works out just as well, then maybe this isn't a bad buy. It is 600 bucks. I'm not in a huge dire need to buy one right now, so it's something that's be nice to have, but not necessary for me. I've also heard that Lincoln and Miller are better. So if you do a lot of plasma cutting, or you're an artist of some kind and you want to do a lot of different designs, you might consider getting a different one. I heard that Vulcan came out with their own series, which we're going to get to, and I've heard their series is actually better. So, oh wait, aluminum jack, look at that. 1.5 ton, 60 bucks, killer deal. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How do I feel about their air compressors? $149.99, 125 PSI. This is a 21 gallon. Look, told you guys before, I've got like a 22 gallon one here at the house, and it's good for like small things. You wouldn't want to be using a die grinder for an extended period of time. You wouldn't want to be stuck with a bolt that has a lot of torque behind it and trying to use a heavy duty impact wrench on it, because it's just not going to work out. I've tried it. So there's just not enough pressure or something But for the small stuff, busting off lug nuts, maybe using some cordless tools under the hood, or I'm sorry, some air tools under the hood to zap a few things off, I think it's going to hold up just fine. Filling tires, things like that. But most certainly isn't a bust nut machine, you know what I'm saying? So take it or leave it. If you want a really, really big tank that you can utilize a lot of heavy duty tools with at the house, you might consider getting one of those bigger ones with the belt and everything. All right, well, moving on. Flux core wire. I buy my wire from Harbor Freight. Works great for me. 16 bucks a roll. Seems to last forever for the small stuff that I do with it. That's interesting. 1,000-pound capacity, still motorcycle lift. Looks like it lifts the whole bike up pretty good, but still this big flat piece here. It almost seems like it's still on the ground, but just higher in the air. So I don't have an opinion about that. I was just looking at it. Looks kind of cool, but it still feels like it's almost on the ground. So I don't know. Maybe not what I'm really looking for, to be honest. All right, going to the next page. Scrolling through. Some of this stuff's just like, you know, random things that I wouldn't even consider because I'm just not interested. Extensions, 10 bucks. If you need an extension, you need an extension. If they break, they break. Take them back if you want. I already have extensions and they're not Harbor Freight because I don't trust them. So, hey, it is what it is. That's what you can afford. Get them. I don't care for them. So, moving on. Let's see. Organizers, $13.99. Maybe you have some nuts and bolts, some washers, some AC O-rings, things like that you need to organize. Great deal there. $13.99. Magnetic tray, 7 bucks all day long. That's going to save you a few dollars per magnetic tray. So if you're trying to pick up like, I don't know, 4 to 10 magnetic trays, you might consider saving yourself, you know, 20, 40 bucks by buying a whole bunch of them from Harbor Freight versus buying them from Home Depot or off the tool truck. No experience with generators. We can skip past that. This is all power motors and stuff. That's all home and garden. Heat gun, paint gun, not interested. Surveillance, gun safes, TV mounts. Okay, $29.99 power outlet. That thing is great. I picked one up again for the TOT program. Got it on the box. I think I might actually pick one up myself just because it's such a freaking great value. It's got USB compatibility and it gives you like 5 outlets, so killer good. Gloves. We talked about killer value there with the $13.99 Hardys. Some industrial stuff or automotive shop stuff that you might consider getting later down the road would be like a parts washer, $99.99. Maybe you want a some kind of, what do you call it? Like a blast cabinet, I guess is what they're calling it. Like a bead blast cabinet so you can clean off old parts. If you want a more heavier duty one, they have another one here for $1,000, or it's comparing it to a $1,000 one for $180. That's what it is. My bad. I thought they had 2 of them there for a minute. Look, they work good. I got a friend up in Oregon. He has one. They use it. Not really sure where you get the sand from. I think you can buy the sand from either them or Tractor Supply or Home Depot as well. We have this right here. It's at the shop. It's a heavy-duty portable hydraulic equipment. It's basically a hydraulic deal that actually spreads the chassis apart. So on Dodges it has this cross member and it's really tight fitting, so when you pull it out you got to go to put it back in. It's like it's too big for the frame. Well, you got to spread the frame apart to put it back in, and that's where this comes into play. I think it's like they're asking 140 bucks, so not a bad idea to go that route. Let's see, carports, things like that. I've got these. $89.99. I think I got mine when they were 60 bucks. Oh no, here we go. 60 bucks. Some motorcycle ramps for the back of your truck. Great deal. Have some here. Love them. Not just for quads. You could put them both side by side and then roll a 2-wheeler up there too. So that's a great value. Let's see here. Funnels, yeah. $3.99. I got a funnel. Bungee cords, 10 bucks. Bungee cords. Ratchet straps. Small utility trailers. Probably going to save you gas. So if you don't need to do a whole heck of a lot or pull a whole heck of a lot, might be a good investment to pick up a small trailer for 350 bucks and then using some steel and a sander, weld your own box frame in there, maybe put down a piece of plywood for you know, putting like motorcycles or equipment, or maybe you're hauling yard debris or roofing material or whatever. You could pretty much build your own trailer out of something like that. Don't know how heavy duty it's going to be. Says it's around 1,200 pounds. Really, again, for small stuff, garbage runs, things like that, you can basically turn this thing into an epic box trailer for 350 bucks and then just add a few bucks for extra stuff. Yeah, wiring, 20 bucks. You don't even have to do anything. Just they're magnetic lights that go to the back, run the wires up to the front, good to go. Or you can do your own 4-way trailer kit and run it yourself. Daytona Jacks, we talked about them. Think they're a little bit pricey for what it's worth, but you can get a different style of floor jack here for 120 bucks, also by Daytona. Aluminum jacks, there's one here, $79.99. You saw one earlier for $10 off. Jack stands are great. Engine stands hold up. Scissor lift, we have these over at the Chrysler dealership. Those hold up good. Sometimes they're missing some fasteners, so throw some nuts and bolts in there, but other than that, here's another 1,500 pound steel and ATV motorcycle lift. This would be something more I think I'm looking for, and somewhere around the $90 range seems pretty fitting. Also, here's one here. Looks like 60 bucks that holds the front tire steady, so if you got to do something in the back. I have one of these smaller ones, just a dirt bike stand that I tossed my dirt bike onto here at the house. That was a great buy for what it was worth. Yada yada yada. Engine hoists, we talked about that. Good for the value. Not sure about their jump packs, if their jump packs are worth it, but 80 bucks might be worth a shot. They've also got other jump packs here that are almost 60 that you could throw in the car for on the go that also charge various things. Let's see here. Moving on. Oh, look at that. They got a 2.3 gallon fluid extractor, kind of like the Mighty Vac, maybe a fraction of the cost, 90 bucks. So that looks pretty good. You guys know how I feel about their AC stuff. For 60 bucks, not worth it. I went through like 2 sets. One was leaking at the actual fitting up here at the top. The other one was actually leaking through the knob. I think they're garbage. I plugged this, I bought one of these vacuum pumps with the set when I first got it, and right when I plugged it in and turned it on, it started smoking. So I unplugged it and took that back too. Garbage. Don't like them. You guys might have a different opinion. Moving on. Let's see, we talked about the shop presses. Good value for what it's worth. Maddox, there's a ball joint set, 90 bucks. Great value for what it's worth. Not sure that I trust the McPherson strut compressors that they have for 30 bucks. I mean, we're already risking enough using that kind of device anyways. Obviously, one of those strut compressors that are built onto the wall are much more safer, but in a pinch, and if you're a DIY or weekend warrior and you need something like that, I might go with a different brand. Just throwing that out there. Serpentine belt drive toolkit, $18.99. I had an experience with this in the past when I first started community college. Wasn't enough sockets for the amount of vehicles that I was changing belts on, and one of the sockets here slipped and rounded the fastener and put me in a bad position. So I'm actually saying no to that. I'd rather see somebody get a gear wrench set over something like that. So I'm going to say no-go on that. And then again, when it comes to their other pressure testers, fuel injection testers, this is just experience, okay? Oil pressure tester, never used it. Never used it. I bought it and I gave it away. So I don't have an opinion about that. Fuel pressure test kit, leaked right away. Don't like it. Compression test kit, held up really well. Ended up giving it away to a friend of mine at Sears when I bought the Craftsman version for a few dollars more, because I thought the Craftsman one offered better organization and more adapters than the set that I had from Harbor Freight at the time. They may have put more adapters in it since, but it was a great value and it held up really well for me. So well that I decided to give it to a friend, and he's still using it. So fuel injection pump tester, no opinion. Quick connect compression test kit, I think that kind of falls with this other kit, so they got 2 kits there. All right, we already talked about the scan tool portion, so we'll just slide on. Oh, test lights, $4. I got a guy at work, Martin. He buys like 2 or 3 of these things, and he uses them all the time. So when he loses one or breaks one or the clamp gives out, he just goes and buys another one. But he loves them. He's been using them for years. He said he's probably used about a half a dozen in the last 10 years. He said, well worth the value for him. And I told him, I said, buy it once, man. Shit. But at any rate, DVOMs, we talked about this in the past. A lot of similarity between the Klein and the Ames. Okay, I didn't pay $100 for mine. I think what did I tell you guys? I think I told you guys it was $70 for the Klein that I picked up. And it was $70 for the Ames that I picked up. And they were virtually the same exact DVOM, okay? They show you a different price on here to try to, again, it's to try to sell you on a product. But look, I think both products are great. Either one would have worked out phenomenally. I have my Klein here at the house and I love it. So I'm saying a great value. Either way you want to go, whether you want to go with Klein or you want to go with the Ames, either way, great value. Just don't believe this price. It's actually the same price as the Ames. All right, moving on. These spark testers do come in handy for $5. Why not? You're always going to need some kind of oil catch pan for $6. Why not? These oil filter wrench vice grip pliers, those things are freaking cool. I've had a couple of those in the past. I've lost them both since then. I haven't felt the need to buy another set, but for the price, not a bad investment. All right, skimming through. Lawn and garden, floodlights, $25. I mean, plug right into your 110 and go to town. It's gonna hold up great. Let's see. These Braun lights, those things actually look pretty legit. I just don't have a need to buy one right now, but for $35, I'm interested. I'm gonna say I'm interested. So I'll put a little star there. I'm interested, just I have no need for another flashlight at the moment. What I would like to see them do is come up with a really good under hood light. That would be cool. But so far I have not found a really good under hood light from Harbor Freight. Again, Vulcan stepping up their game. They got a series of welders. If you guys have any experience with the welders, please feel free to share it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion about it. Welding helmets. Again, can't say anything bad about the welding helmets from Harbor Freight. Love mine. Oh, here we go. The standard one that they are calling good. $45. Thing's been awesome. Okay, this welder right here, the 125 Flux core welder, the MIG welder, the one that I got. It's been great, but I got mine for around $89.99. So these things do go on sale and they're about $25 difference. So it might not be a bad idea to hold off on the next closeout sale, and you might be able to pick it up for $25 cheaper. And sometimes the wife just wants to see what I'm doing, and they give them one of those little welding things they can stick up in front of their face, so she can look at it without having to wear another hood. So better for me. But for the value, great value. I've had mine now for over 4 years. I've used it at least half a dozen to a dozen times per year. I don't use it every single day, but it holds up for me. You know, I cannot complain about it, really. All right, cruising right along. Some construction stuff. We already talked about their grinders and how they were comparing to DeWalt's. Cement mixers, some sawzalls. That's more like construction kind of stuff I'm not really interested in. Sorry if you guys are interested in my opinion on that stuff. I'm just like, meh, that's not really what I'm looking for. Skim. What do we got here? Drills, cordless, meh. Okay, yeah, we talked about the cordless. Was it Braun or Bauer lineup, Hercules lineup. Okay, they're both looking pretty good here. Haven't had experience with either one of those. Have experience with DeWalt. Have experience with Makita. Have experience with Rigid. Haven't used either one of these. I can tell you the prices aren't as steep as they're making it look either, but it is what it is. Maybe they're trying to upsell it a little bit. I don't know. Alright, moving on here. Okay, now this is another thing that I'd be kind of interested in for opinions of people that actually own the Earthquake XT cordless 20 volt impact wrench. Because for the price, you're going to be spending, now this is $269.99. That's going to be a very similar price to the Milwaukee Gen 2 Fuel 1/2 inch impact wrench. The Mob Deuce. The freaking bee's knees. Okay, so comparing that to Milwaukee, I think would be pretty big. But of course, Snap-on is a big name, so they're going after big company. They're trying to compare to a big name, say the value's there. But experience talks. So if you guys have experience with the Earthquake XT cordless, put it down in the comments. I'm sure we all would love to hear about it. Impact sockets. Oh my God. I love their impact sockets of all kinds. I've used them all. I've used the 1/2 inch deeps. I've used the 1/2 inch shallows. I own the 1/2 inch wobbles. I've used the 3/8 deeps. I've used the 3/8 shallows. They're all phenomenal sockets. All right, continuing on with the next page here. It's just Earthquake again. This 115. How can you argue with the value? Stubby impact wrench. I'll try to put a card up here or over here. Great value. Holds up. Kicks butt. Fraction of the cost of the ones you'll find on Cornwall or Matco. No opinion, no opinion, no opinion, no opinion, no opinion. Hose. I bought my extended air hose from them, 25 bucks. Great value. Holds up. You can get some heavier duty stuff for a couple dollars more. They also sell a roll that you can roll it up with at 2 different prices. So they got, oh, they're comparing again. Sorry, 100 bucks, okay, but you get something that you can roll up your air hose with, so that could be pretty cool and convenient. Let's see, no opinion, no opinion, no opinion. Die grinders, I've used those in the past. I don't like them. I've used it, I don't like it. Now Shane has this one right here. It's 14 bucks, little die grinder. I've used the cutoff wheel. It just didn't cut for shit. Every time I would dig into something, it would stop. So I don't like it. For 9 bucks, it's a waste of money. But Shane actually has this die grinder for 14 bucks. Loves it, still using it. He's had it for about 4 years now, I think. So, great value to him, absolutely. Air gun, used mine. Lasted about 2 years, then it broke. For 15 bucks, at home use, yeah, why not? But if you're using it all the time, what happened was I bought it, I didn't use it all the time, and then 2 years later after I got a job at the dealership and I was using it pretty frequently for steering and suspension, it like, the spring blew out and the freaking bit went flying. Traded in for another one, blew out again. Got sick and tired of it, bought a Silver Eagle one. So, now I don't have to worry about that stupid spring at the end. Also, it's kind of a pain in the butt to wind it in. At any rate, so I don't like it, but 15 bucks, not a bad value for a couple time uses, whatever. Nail guns, no opinion, no opinion, no opinion. Scrolling through. Ladders, no opinion, no opinion. Tarps, I buy tarps from them. Love their tarps, they hold up for as well as they can. When it gets really windy, they're ripped to shit, and I buy some more, but they're cheap enough, so it's whatever. Dollies, no opinion, no opinion. These carts, yes. So, $59.99, or you can buy a Rubbermaid for 100 bucks. It's literally the same exact thing. Love these things because you can actually drill holes. Here's another one right here, 100 bucks. Similar to Rubbermaid. These ones are made out of metal. This one's made out of the plastic that I was referring to. I apologize. So here's one made out of metal. I'm sure you can still drill holes in it and whatever, but it is made out of metal. So my bad. Sorry. Was referring to this one for 100 bucks. So the industrial polypropylene, same exact thing as Rubbermaid. Same exact price as Rubbermaid. Great cart. Love it. Don't care where you buy it from. You could buy it from your tool vendor. You could buy it from Harbor Freight. It's going to be the same exact price. But they're awesome. Super awesome carts. Wheels. Wheels are okay. Wheels are okay. Don't put anything heavy on this style here. We put these on the AC machine, and now there's a flat spot in it. So a little bit too, the AC machine a little bit too heavy for this style of wheel. But if it's for like a pressure washer, we put these on our pressure washer. They work good. We put these on the bottom of a tool cart. They work good. So depends on what you're using them for. Master sets. Look, I already said it before and I'll say it again. Yes, for $130, if you're just starting off or you don't have a big tool collection, this is a great value. If you're in it and you're using these tools all the time or inappropriately, then the value is not going to be there for you, and you're going to blow through these sockets more often than you think, and the extensions more than you think, and the pliers aren't going to have enough bite, and the hammer's going to be awkward and not really designed for what it is that you're trying to use it for. So again, it depends on what you're using this kit for. But if you're just starting out, yes, it is a good set to have. Even this one for 200 bucks, it's a great starter set. And if some of this stuff holds up even longer for you than it does for most of the people that I've seen that have used this set, even better. You got a better value. So that's awesome. All right, hammers, no opinion. C-clamps, yes, absolutely. Love their C-clamps, work well. I've got a dozen of them here at the house that I use for welding projects. Screwdrivers, no, absolutely hate them. They round off screws. They're no good. Don't care for them. Bit drivers, senseless nonsense. You don't need those. You can buy an adapter that you can fit any socket onto. Tape measures, hey, you get them for free when you buy something, so why not? It's free. Files, yeah, files work good there. I've used the chisels there, those wooden chisels here before. They work great too. I've used this right here, the flat pry bar. Works great for demo and construction. Speed square, yes, I've used. Pry bar set, yes, I've used. Good value. Unless you're beating the hell out of the back of the rubber handle, then this will slide down and it will no longer fit in the blow molded case. So if you don't care about the blow molded case and you can beat the hell out of it, they'll work up for a little while. They do tend to flex a bit more than some of the other brands out there, but who's going to complain for $10.99? When you need leverage, you need leverage. Ratchets, you guys already know how I feel about ratchets. I don't like their ratchets. I know people love their ratchets, okay? That's fine. You can love them all you want. You can have all of them if you want. You're not hurting my feelings any. Don't try to hurt mine by telling me that I'm missing out on a great deal. I don't like them, okay? Enough's enough. Moving on. Pass-through sockets. I don't really see a huge need for them, to be honest. There's really not a lot of times that I've run into anything that I need a pass-through socket for, but when I do need it, I'm not going to spend 20 bucks on it. The 50 bucks that I spent for my Serpentine belt drive tool kit has a lot of sockets and a pass-through ratchet, so I have no need to buy a $20 socket pass-through set. Breaker bars. These things are phenomenal. Real Tool Reviews did a video on it. These things are freaking awesome. The bee's knees. I already had my Mac half-inch breaker bar, and I didn't have a need to buy another one. But I would have if that would have been the route that I would have gone. But I didn't. Torque wrenches. I don't trust them. Okay, I don't. I really don't. If it's all you can afford, get it. Close enough is better than nothing. But I don't trust it. Sorry, just my opinion again. Allen sockets, yes, all day long. These Allen sockets are phenomenal. You're gonna need them. Motorcycle stuff, car stuff, you're gonna run into situations when you need SAE and metric. They're a great value. We talked about extensions. We talked about the adapters in a past video. I don't like them. I think they're cheap. You guys are gonna tell me, hey man, those things are great. I'm gonna tell you, no, they're garbage. They're cheap garbage. They turn to powder when you use them. Then I got someone telling me, oh, you're using them wrong. How else are you supposed to use them? Am I supposed to delicately use them like on a small, like flower or a tiny kid's bicycle or something? Because you buy the adapters to adapt sockets to either step something up or step something down. And in most cases, you're having to put some leverage behind it. Whether you're trying to break away, well, let's just say 20 to 40 foot-pounds is the average breakaway torque for most nuts and bolts that you're going to find yourself needing these weird-ass adapters. And you know what? They don't hold up. I'm sorry. They are garbage. If you love them, go buy them. I'm telling you that they're garbage. That's it. Same with their universal joints. They're garbage. They don't hold up. I don't want them. Tell me that you love them all they want and that they hold up for you. Great. You got a great value. I'm glad they work for you. They don't work for me. Again, my opinion. Throwing it out there for whatever it's worth. Ratchet wrenches. Oh yeah. Those things are phenomenal. Love them. Have a set. Use them. They're great. Regular combination wrenches. No. Do not like them. They don't fit. They round bolts off. The machining is terrible. The open end is terrible. They flex too much. Even the super long ones. They have too much flex. I had a guy, Tyler, come over and borrow one of my long reach wrenches because he had the long reach Pittsburg combination wrenches, and it would flex the whole entire wrench before it could crack it loose. So I loaned him one of my Matco ones, and he cracked it loose no problem. Again, garbage, but it's whatever you can afford. I'm just telling you from experience, these are things that I've run into. And these are the reasons why I won't buy certain things. The pliers, the Doyle plier lineup, you know how much I love those things. I think they're great. They remind me of Mac tools. I think they're a phenomenal deal for what it is that they're worth. You guys are going to tell me they're garbage. That's fine. It's your opinion. I used them for a short period of time, and I gave pretty much all of them away except for like one pair. I think I went back and I bought a pair of their dikes because I liked them. So I think that's the only thing I did. I think I gave all of them away, but I went back and I bought another pair of their dikes because I did like them, and I think they remind me so much more of the Mac ones that I had to have a pair for here at the house. You guys might actually occasionally see me pull them out from time to time out of my toolbox. So, great tool. Other homemade pliers that they have, yeah, garbage, okay? These little clamps, I've got about a half a dozen of those too. Great for welding, love them. Let's see. Cases, yeah, ooh, ammo cans. Who doesn't want a 50 cal ammo can? Perfect. Alright guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up. That was the last page. I didn't see anything else worth talking about. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks as always for watching. Cheers again to those of you that have your beers, and we'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed. Deuces.